In this video I'm going to be teaching you how to do a satin stitch, a chain stitch and a French knot. Again, I've got my stranded thread, which is one strand doubled over through the needle. So we're going to start off by doing a satin stitch, and a satin stitch is aiming to be just like a satin piece of fabric that is shiny and smooth. So we're going to create lots of stitches all going in the same direction across the shape, and a satin stitch is really good for filling in a solid shape. We're going to start by doing our stop stitch on the back again, just like we did before. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to snip that off at the end. So with this shape, we're going to try and come up the left hand side and down the right hand side, and we're going to try and fill the shape without leaving any gaps and with all the threads running in the same direction. And again, it is easier not to actually turn your work round, just to bend your fabric through your needle. So we're going down one line and then up the other side. So down one side and then up the other side. So there's a lot of stitches in here, and actually they take quite a long time. I probably won't finish all of this. I'll just try and give you a bit of an idea about what it's supposed to look like. Try not to pull your stitches too tight. You can use an embroidery frame for this, but I'm using quite a stiff fabric. If you're using a very light fabric, then an embroidery frame is perfect for holding it in place and keeping your tension even. But not everyone's got one of those at home. Just as long as you don't pull too tightly, it's not essential. Okay, so we're going down one side, back up the other. You can already see we're starting to create a shape of solid colour. Okay. Keep going until you get to the bottom of your shape. I'm just going to go this far because I'm just showing you what to do. But you should have created a shape that's filled with stitches. Turn this over. We're just going to do finishing off stitch at the end to make sure it doesn't pull out. Okay, so this one is quite time consuming, but it's quite therapeutic, and you don't have to always use the same colour. You can blend other colours into it as well and create a shaded effect. It's a bit like painting with thread, really. Okay, the next stitch is a chain stitch. And chain stitches you can do along straight lines, but you can do them along curvy lines. And people always get quite confused with these, but they're really quite easy. If you turn your fabric over to start with and do your stop stitch, two, 3. I'm going to start at this point of the line. And a chain stitch has got lots of loops running, and they're all attached to each other. So what you need to do first of all, what I always find helps actually is to make even marks up your line. I'm just using a normal pen so you can see, but you could use a vanishing pen or a pencil. And so you need to go up and down on every mark, and when you do that on the first one you get left with a loop like this. Put the loop to one side and then go up the next mark and pull it gently through. I'm getting a bit twisty. And go through the loop like this. And if you don't pull it too tight, you get left with a nice loop like this. If you pull it really tight, the loop goes flat and doesn't look like a chain anymore. I'll hold that a bit closer for you. Okay, so the next time you go back down the same mark and then up the next mark, pull it through gently. You've got this loop here. Go through the loop, okay, and then do the same thing. So you go up and down through the same mark, then up the next mark, then through the loop. And my thread's getting a bit twisted around itself. Okay, and the next thing, you go down through the same mark, up through this mark, and I nearly lost my loop there, didn't I? Then through the loop again, just pulling it quite gently so that you don't lose the shape of your loop, and you should be getting Sorry, that's the bad thing about working in a school. You should be getting this really nice chain effect. Okay, so keep going up and down, creating the loop. Down, then back up on the next mark. Just like this. Okay, I'm going to finish there, I think, but with the last stitch, you don't want to, if you just take that straight down there to the back, you're going to lose the last stitch and it might all unravel. So in the last stitch you just need to anchor it, so I could just go down on the other side. So it stops just there. And on the back you need to do your stop stitch. 1, 2, and cut that off. Okay, I'm going to need a bit more thread. Okay, so we've got this nice chain effect going on. The last one I'm going to teach you how to do is a French knot, and again this is the one of the ones where people get a bit confused. But there's just a few little things to remember, and if you do it this way then they'll work beautifully. And if you want to use a thicker thread will give you a chunkier knot and make it more obvious. A thinner thread will make it look a bit more delicate, but you might need a few more knots clustered together to give you the desired effect. So underneath where my first knot's going to be, I'm just going to do my starting off stitch, my stop stitch. 1, 2. Sorry about the noise, the bell has just gone. And we're going to come up through the fabric like this. And then this is the trick. Everybody wants to wrap their needle around the thread like this. If you do it this way, then when you pull the needle through, it will the whole knot will just unravel. So what you need to do is hold your needle parallel with the fabric and actually wrap the thread around that. I'm going to have to put it down just slightly. You need 2 hands. 1, 2, and pull it tight close to the fabric like this. And then gently slide your needle out and put the point down like that. And pull it through. You get your knot like this. I'm going to show you one more time. Go up through your fabric. Hold the needle parallel with the fabric. Wrap the thread round. 1, 2. If you wrap it around more, you'll get a chunkier knot, so maybe I'll wrap it around 3 times. Pull the needle out slowly until you can just see the point, and poke the point down through your work. Pull it through gently, don't pull it too tight. You'll get a lovely knot like that. Okay, last time. Pull your thread through. Wrap the thread around the needle, hold the needle parallel to the fabric. Wrap the thread round 1, 2, 3 times. But it's up to you how many times you want to wrap it around. And then pull the needle out. Oh, I've lost it. 1, 2, 3. Pull the needle out. Just put the tip back in and push it. Oh, that hasn't worked again. 1, 2, 3. Pull it. Put the tips of the needle through the work. Pull it through really gently. I'm not having much luck with this last one. There we go. And then do your finishing off stitch at the back. 1, 2. Snip the excess thread off. And there you have it. 6 stitches, a running stitch, back stitch, a stem stitch, a satin stitch, chain stitch and a French knot.